We are so excited to be here.
What's up? This city is really beautiful. It's my first time here. I think it's been great.
So, I feel very lucky. Ben is probably one of the most brilliant consumer social software people in Silicon Valley right now. And what I want to get out of this talk, and I hope you guys get some of this too, is where did you start? How did you get involved into technology? And what's going on with Houseparty and Meerkat and all these other companies. So start from the top. Tell us a bit about where you're from, how you got interested in startups, and we'll take it from there.
Cool. Basically, the purpose of the company that we founded 5 years ago is to bring people together in the most human way possible when they're physically apart. And I've studied architecture. And for me, it's the transition to build a company that is focused on synchronous interaction is in its root coming from what I liked about architecture and why I got into learning architecture. I'm talking about architecture of building, not So the basic idea of, at least what got me excited about architecture, is that great spaces create new opportunities for people to encounter and talk to each other and meet. And those unique, like the best buildings create those like different kind of spaces where people are having different kind of conversation. And I thought that this was the most artistic and interesting part of architecture. And in a sense, what we're doing in Life on Air 5 years, in the past 5 years that we've been working on in the company, we've been only focused on that through 5 products of how we create new opportunities for people to encounter and talk and see things they wouldn't otherwise do. So we launched our first product called Yevo, which was a very first early stab at live streaming. It could actually tweet and go live, but it was also doing like 7 or 10 other things, and it was too confusing. And we did it in 2013, and then we realized that the function to tweet and go live was something users loved. And then we said, okay, let's focus just on that. And then a year after, we launched Meerkat, which was a live streaming on Twitter. And then we started to see that the problem with live video broadcast is that the use case is too far away from the everyday user. So if you want to build a big company in communication, you have to have people coming every day and using and putting some part of themselves inside the platform, because that's how they build habits, and that's the pattern that will form their usage and get them to be addicted to it. And not addiction like in a bed, but more as a side effect for what people love, right?
Let me interject for a second, because I'm actually curious. I mean, maybe with a show of hands, how many people have heard of Meerkat or Houseparty here? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you heard of Meerkat or Houseparty. So it looks about half. And I think, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs here, so I think we're all wondering, how do you build an addictive product, right? Like, how do you get some, how are you able to manufacture that? Is that something you can manufacture?
So I think it all boils down to a very, very clear sense of purpose that the founder or the founding team has. And it starts with a mission and a purpose, and then if you bang your head against the wall enough time, you will eventually learn of how to get your mission out. And we literally built and shipped 5 different products until we got to Houseparty, which, by the way, because it's a different demographic that is not like journalists and celebrities, Houseparty is like 32 times bigger than the peak of Meerkat, which is kind of cool. Because you start with a product, you get like 5,000 users, and you're like, oh, this is not working. And then you release another one, and you're like, oh, we got 50,000 users now. And then that doesn't work. And then you release another product, and then nobody comes. You're like, okay, sorry, let's try something else. And then the first time we actually had scaled success was with Meerkat. And then you get like 10 million users, and you're like, wow, I have all these data points that I can understand. And in a sense, that was the key thing. It's funny, we launched Meerkat in, I think, end of February 2015, a month after we raised $15 million. 3 months after, we decided to pivot. And then for a year, we just focused on if the everyday person doesn't go live every day, and that's the problem with live video. That's like, I think a lot of people would agree that the promise of live video streaming 2 years ago, it's not exactly unfolding how we thought, like how big it's going to be. And I think that the key thing is that I'm not interested. Like, if I go live every day, nobody is going to see it. And once we identified that core problem, we said, okay, how do we build the product that we can deliver on our mission, but it will get everyday people, like it will give meaningful value that people come every day and use it. And a year after, we basically launched Houseparty. And we got, with no marketing, no ad buy, we got in the beta period, we got in 6 months to 1 million daily active. And then it was cool. It's like.
But how do you, I mean, startups are, you're kind of in your head a lot. And how do you know if something's working or not working? Because it seems like it sounds like, you launched a bunch of apps. You were able to say, like, you know what, this is the purpose. Yeah.
When you say bunch of apps, I just want to, I'm probably going to be very, very bad at anything that is not how do I bring people synchronously to talk to each other or to see something live. That's my obsession, and like I'm probably going to be terrible at anything else. So all the bunch of apps, they were all in the same obsession of like, everybody's walking around with internet-connected cameras. Why can't we take our family and friends with us? Why can't we take point of views of people, but not the asynchronous point of view that are cropped and have, filters or whatever. Like, how can we see what's happening right now? And the reciprocal element of, talking to each other. And yeah, so how do you know, basically you asked, like, how do you know that it's working? First of all, if you and the team find that you're actually using it, but really, like a lot of people use because you have to use it because it's part of the team. But I think you can actually feel when you're onto something. The first prototype of Houseparty was an app, like an internal build that doesn't have a sign up or a user, anything. Whoever opened it would see the other people who opened it in the same time. And we built that like very simple, and like not even MVP, it was like proof of concept. And we just built it in like a week and gave it to the team. And then slowly, like you would get a push saying like somebody opened the app. And it was just between the team. And we were like, this is very cool. Like and I think we realized that there is something there when we understood that you don't need to schedule a call. Like there's so much emotional baggage. The format of calling for 100 years, like over 100 years created like a lot of emotional baggage. If you're going to call to anyone that is under 16 in the Western market, they will not answer and text you what's wrong. Because there is this like, why are people calling me? And to be honest, like I bet 99% of the people here, including myself, will never send a Google Calendar invite to 3 of their best friends saying, hey, can we catch up for 4 minutes tonight at 8 p.m. PST. Like it's not gonna happen. But there's something so beautiful and honest with catching up with two of your best friends without setting a conference call. And that's what Houseparty is still exploring and trying to understand. What is the concept of synchronous social networking? What does it mean to, what presence mean when all of us are connected? But in a way that is, in a meta level, is doing the opposite of what the internet limitation has enforced on us in the past 20 years. And to explain that, in the past 20 years, we've been hacking the internet to feel closer to each other. So we created a bunch of asynchronous micro-interaction that makes us feel closer, like likes and comment and you know, photos and videos. And that's, you know, and with stories, the format of stories, it's like very close to be next to someone, but it's still not that, right? And I think we're finally in a point where culturally, I feel like people are moving from this focus of the selfie era, the focus from me, we're moving into we. And you can find these memes, or not internet memes, but this concept that are going, you know, very young people are, first of all, much smarter than us, like in order of magnitude. And also, they have high sense of high sense of understanding of what is authenticity. And the follower mentality, the selfie mentality, yes, it's there as like a joke or like as a fun thing, but a lot of young people have stronger sense of self, and they define themselves by who they are rather than what they aspire to be. So you get, and I think it's a side effect of what internet and communication have done. And I think it's great, because then somebody can just feel great about whatever they want to do and who they are, and they don't need to pretend to be somebody else. And I think that this shift in mentality from me to we is also something that I think make Houseparty work a little bit, because all of a sudden, it's not about me taking selfies and share it with my friends. It's about me with my friends. And I think that's also, in a meta level, what Houseparty does is just bringing a humanized side to communication, where you actually get to see and talk to the people you interact with. And it's not photo and likes and comment, which are great. And it's awesome, but what if we can also have the conversational aspect?
So, it sounds like...
It's hot here.
It is hot up here. Yeah. It is hot up here. You know, it sounds like having a sort of purpose for a company is extremely important. Is that something that you can manufacture? Is it something that you can have to experience? How do you think about that sort of thing?
I think that a strong sense of purpose, regardless of a company or anything, I think is the most important thing that anyone can have. I think that a strong sense of why did you come here? Why did you wake up in the morning? Why are you going to this? Constantly challenging the patterns of what you're doing into understanding what it is that you want to pursue is the atomic unit of anything meaningful that touches as the people's heart or touches your heart or something that has any value. And I think it starts there. It starts with you, with your heart. Why are you here? Like, why are you not here, but like, why? What is your purpose?
I gotta do something right now. What I'd like to do is bring someone on stage. We're gonna ask them a few of those questions. They're gonna come up here. So stand up, someone who's brave enough to come on stage, answer a few tough questions. You're gonna come on stage. We have a couple minutes left. Anyone brave enough to come on stage and answer a couple tough questions? Come up. You, that person. Yes, give him a round of applause. It's amazing. He's not the fastest walker in the world, but there he is. Welcome, welcome.
How you doing?
Greg, have a seat. You're on the hot chair. You're on the hot chair. All right, so Ben is going to put this to test. Ask him. Here, I'll give you the mic.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable. Like, you know, it's like.
Well, let's get to know him. What's your name?
My name's Denis, CTO, co-founder of Porpoise. So when you mentioned Porpoise, so everybody in the company knows the importance of giving back, and we do by helping companies manage volunteer programs.
Can you distill in one sentence, not what your company do,
Okay.
what it is that you do, what it is that you
Awesome.
after?
Great question. For me, it's being human again, giving back. I think you spend so much time consuming, purchasing things, working. I worked for a big company that we were just a number. And I felt a real sense of need. And I did a missions trip, and I really got a sense of what a human being that simply needs nothing more than just love and attention and pouring into another human being. So that's the reason personally why I'm in the company, to give back and be more human. And that's a sense of purpose that people, when they talk, they see it in your eyes. And whatever you do, if you're that type of person, has to be a product or a service that also carries that heart. So that's why I put myself in the company and what I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, here's a great sense of purpose. Are we?
Thank you. Where can we find out more about your company?
Porpoise.com. Just like the dolphin. Porpoise.com.
We didn't plant it. It's kind of.
That's why I had to come
funny.
up. I had to come up.
You
Just
had a
one
choice.
guy? Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right, so we have one minute left. Any parting words that you have for a group of people starting companies from your experiences?
I think we got the root, of it. It's like clear sense of purpose. I think that's the only reason we've been able to be lucky. Yeah. I think that's the reason we've been able to survive. That's the reason we've been able to multiple time touch millions of people and get them to see things or have conversations they wouldn't otherwise have. And I think it all starts with a clear sense of purpose.
If anyone wants to, after this talk, send us their purposes, we'd love to read them. My email is g@islands.im. And he's on Twitter, so you can tweet at him. What is it? Ben
RBN.
Ben RBN. So thank you so much, and see you around.
Bye, guys.